Mountain Dew? More like Mountain Brew. Let me show you how you can become Gamer Jesus and turn Mountain Dew into beer. Before we get started, I would just want to mention I'm not the first person to come up with the idea of making a Mountain Dew infused beer. Jason Pavento, all the way back in 2005, published a recipe in Brew Your Own magazine. The big difference between his recipe and my recipe is his recipe is going to be a lot more subtle, whereas mine's going to be a lot more in your face with the Mountain Dew flavor. If you want to check out his recipe, I'm going to have a link posted in the description. I really highly recommend you go check out Brew Your Own magazine. They have a lot of great stuff on there. And also, if you want to do something that's a little more subtle in flavor, give his recipe a try. If not, let me show you how I make mine. We're going to be using a technique today called beer in a bag. Here I add 1 gallon of water to a 4-gallon pot. For our grains, we are going to be working with 2 pounds of pale wheat malt, 1 pound of Pilsner malt, and 4 ounces of instant oats. I was basically making a Belgian wit beer as our base. Once our temperature reaches 155 degrees, we will be adding our grains into our water. The water is going to cool down to 145 degrees, and we want to maintain that temperature the best we can for about 30 minutes. Bring the temperature up to 158 degrees and hold it there for about another 30 minutes. You will then want to bring the water up to 168 degrees, and once you reach that temperature, pull your grain bag out and let everything drain into your brew kettle. Once the flow slows down, go ahead and start squeezing the bag to get as much sugar out of it as possible. I start to twist the bag so more liquid came out without actually having to squeeze it by hand. Bring everything up to a boil and let it boil away for about 1 hour. After 1 hour, you will then need to go ahead and add any water needed to make sure you have 1 gallon of worts. Keep adding water until you reach the 1 gallon mark. Take the temperature down to 170 degrees, and then we're going to add in our hops. We're going to use 2 types of hops, Motueka and Bergamot. The Motueka hops reportedly have a strong lemon-lime flavor to them. Bergamot hops have a strong orange taste to them. These should complement and enhance the flavors of Mountain Dew very well. Add a ½ ounce of each hop variety into your kettle and then begin stirring until a whirlpool forms. Keep this temperature for 20 minutes and keep stirring as necessary to keep the whirlpool going. Now it's time for the start of the show. I'm going to be using an entire 12-pack of Mountain Dew since that's about 1 gallon's worth. Open each can and pour it into your kettle. Keep going until the entire 12-pack is in the kettle and make sure to stir vigorously to ensure that everything is nice and combined. Finally, pour your alien pea-looking juice into your fermenter. Add some anti-foaming agent to the top if you want. Once it's at about room temperature, add the yeast. For the yeast, I'm going to be using Belgian wit strain since I think this will taste like Blue Moon's unholy cousin. Let it ferment for about a couple weeks, transfer to bottles or kegs, and once it's carbonated, let's see how it tastes. Alright, so this, we wanted to get the OG Mountain Dew here to compare. So one thing I can say off the bat, this is definitely a lot hazier than a regular Mountain Dew. But it does have a pretty close color to the original.
This one's a little bit more green, probably a little bit more artificial flavor and color. Let's try this as a sample.
So sweet.
You taste a lot of carbonation, a lot of sweet. Honestly, my first thought is sweet followed by citrus. So
right.
What we tried to do in the beer was make it more citrus forward, less sweet, and it won't be sweet because the sugars will have gotten eaten already.
Yeah. Let's see how it tastes.
Let's try the brewed version.
Oh, it's way better.
It's really good.
See, I think that this is what I wish Mountain Dew would taste like. It's not so sweet. Like, it has balance. It has, you know, the bitterness from the hops, but I didn't even make it that bitter either. So it just has that, like, hop taste and flavor. The citrus is there. And really, like, this is what I want Mountain Dew to taste like.
It has a little bit of spice to it too, so it's definitely more complex tasting. I was very hesitant, again, when Adam said Mountain Dew. I'm not really a fan of the original product. It actually can work as a beer really well. And I think he picked the right combination of hops and the wheat and all of that to really complement it and make it taste better, honestly, than the original.
Yeah, I would say next time the only adjustment I might do is I might not go with the Belgian wit because it adds that spiciness. I might do something that has like more of a citrus taste to it. But other than that, like, I would definitely make this again. This was a great beer.
We've been trying to get a little bit more experimental. This is the one that I think we could make again. For people who still have that college boy side to them, this is gonna be a huge home run because it still resembles the original pop.
Makes me want to experiment and do more different types of hop. Maybe some Dr. Pepper, maybe some Coke, Pepsi. We'll find out.